Welcome everybody, NJ Cheese, BPTV, Netflix, Bright, starring Will Smith and Joe Edgerton. Um, we're gonna start. Let's just start at the beginning. You mash up The Last Watch with Lord of the Rings. You mash it up into one movie. That's it. Review over. No, but serious. Okay, so Will Smith takes time off of work after being injured. He was shot by an orc. He feels like his partner let him down, and the orc actually that shot him got away. And he felt like his partner, which was an orc that played Nick, felt like he didn't know what side he was on. Pretty much, he said, "Well, this guy shot me. You chased him down, but you didn't catch him. That doesn't sound right." So they have this weird dynamic, and instead of like regular cop movies, like okay, black guy, white guy, we're partners. We like each other. We don't like each other. It was black cop, orc cop. Um, People didn't like the orcs because they had a. It was a dark lord that tried to take over the world. Everybody joined forces to beat the dark lord, and orcs took the dark lord's side. And that was 2,000 years ago. And Dark Lord didn't win, but the orcs was punished all this time for that. And pretty much they're like the bottom feeders. They're like the, I mean, I guess in as far as tiers go, it would be like the elves. They're really fashionable. They have plenty of money. They're super clean cut. They work on, they practice like magic, and they just got a lot of money. They're top of the line. They have the money. They have the fashion, everything that people would want. And it's weird because like the humans are middle class, and then the orcs would be like the low class. Because like I said, they've been punished. People don't look at them. They're not really, I guess I don't really know as far as their intelligence level. They didn't seem to be all that smart, but they have crazy amounts of strength. One scene you see the orc picks up the car for his son so he can go under it and get some a toy, and they can take some damage because you see at one point Nick is actually getting smashed between a wall and a car, and he's just like, damn, this hurts. But he's not dying. He's not even close to being dead. So they have this sense where they can walk into a building, and Nick and Will Smith, they walk into a building and Nick smells something. Nick is the orc. He smells something. He's like, somebody's here. I smell it. So they have this that going against them. I mean, working with them as well. And it was kind of cool to see those three classes and see how they interacted and stuff like that. They have, what else? I would say it was cool to see, like I said, these movies have, it's so black and white, but to see it was really just orc and then Will Smith, and then he didn't like him. But then at one point he realized, like, man, this guy is not a bad guy. They really tried to make him seem like he was more like a goofy guy, or he just wasn't able to really be a good cop. And Nick was actually the first orc cop, and he wasn't never really accepted by his people, so that bothers him. And then he's not accepted by the police, and that's bugging him. So this guy has a lot of pressure on him. Will Smith is looking at weakling because in his law enforcement he's been shot, and he's working with the orc, and people just look at them like the odd couple at this point. They're the outcasts, and a lot of people just didn't want to work with them, and Will Smith was even trying to get away from the orc, and it just wasn't happening. But they go into this building, and they realize that it's some magic, and they find this wand. With a wand, you can grant, pretty much you can wish anything, whatever you want. If you want $100 million, if you want to be taller, if you want whatever, a car, whatever. So when Will Smith and Nick is in the building, and they ended up finding out that the police department, the some of the members of the police department had turned on Will Smith and told him, "Look, you have to kill Nick. If you don't, we're gonna kill you." They end up being scumbags, wanting to kill him anyway, and just the scenes where it was just so gritty. Certain scenes were just so cool. Like Will Smith asked Nick, he says, "Okay, so who's on my left? Who's on my right shoulder?" And then he just turns around, just starts fucking mowing them down. And I'm just like, "Oh shit, I didn't expect that." Um, and that's where their relationship took a turn. And then they kind of, instead of hating each other, it was like, you know what, we have to work together to stay alive, and because we got to fight for our life. He mows the cops down. The Mexican gang is where this battle was happening, and they said, "Well, we just seen you kill your boys. I heard this Juan over here. What's up?" So that ends up being a big deal. They try to the leader he's in a wheelchair, so he wants the Juan to get his legs back and start living a regular life. So I'm talking about his gang was deep, man, like 40. So 40 deep. So they start getting into this crazy battle with Will Smith, and it's crazy because you slowly start seeing the odds stacked against them, stacked against them, stacked against them. Like boom, the police force, his own co-workers, then the Mexican gang, then the elves, then the orcs. So it was just like everything stacked against them. They was just fighting for their life, and it was just like I said, it was cool to see that end of watch, gritty type feel, but have this fantasy world. Like one of the scenes, they showing an outside shot of L.A., the city, and you see a dragon flying by in the distance. And I was just like, man, that is cool. And it was super dope to just get lost in this world. And so Will Smith and Nick is fighting for his life. They're fighting for their lives. They come across um, not a ferry, which Will Smith did have a ferry problem in the beginning of the movie, and it was funny. But I can't think of his name. I can't think of their names right now. But they pretty much run into somebody that can help them with this situation, and she joins with them. And like I said, they're continuing to fight for their life, and they're just having these crazy gun battles and chase scenes, and you just wonder like how the fuck. And it's not like a regular movie, so you kind of don't really know how it's gonna end. And then at some point, they just find themselves being like, "Eff it, we have to fight back. We can't keep running. We have to fight back." They fight back, and things start getting handled. Um, and it was hard for them to fight the elves. That's They had an elf on their team, so that's who I couldn't think of the name of. And her name was Tika. She was an elf that was like betrayed by the other elves who's trying to bring the Dark Lord back to take over the world, and she's not with it. And she was just like, "Look, I'm out of here." So they're trying to kill her. The elves are trying to kill her and get the wand. So like I said, it was a lot of different layers to it, a lot of different like things stacked against them, and just stuff like that. And at some point, like I said, they fight back. The orc gang catches both of them. Have a super intense scene where I felt like Joel did perfect. Like when you see Nick and Will Smith, their banter together. It's funny. It's cool. Will Smith does his thing. When is he not? I mean, he made that movie with his son. I forgot the name of it. But that was the last bad movie. And don't worry about Will Smith in this movie. He's funny. He does his job. But like I said, Joel really makes you feel for this character. When something happens to Nick, you're like, oh man, like you really feel bad for him. Um, the one thing about Tika, actually, now that I think back on it, was she had a moment where pretty much she dies, and you kind of don't feel anything. You're just like, okay, whatever. cool. But like everything that happened to Nick, one time he gets shot, and you just like, oh man, like you feel bad for this guy because on top of everything they're dealing with, he's still trying to win over Will Smith. He's not accepted by the orc, so he has like double the work that everybody else, and he's the first orc LAPD cop, so he just had so much stacked against him. But to get lost in this world was just amazing, and I thought it was really entertaining. And like I said, I hate that people nowadays, when they come to these movies, it's either amazing or it's like trash. And people got to realize that this movie was entertaining. It's not necessarily always about is it amazing or is it trash. Sometimes it's just in the middle, and that's not always a bad thing. That's not saying it was a bad movie. I don't think it was a bad movie at all. I don't think it was the best movie I ever seen, but it was definitely entertaining to me. Um, I would say out of 1 to 10, I would give it a strong 6. I'm definitely planning on watching it again. The action sequences was cool. I liked it. It was pretty, like I said, it was real gritty. Like the one scene where the Mexican gang is chasing them for fucking forever into the strip club, and then people just get shot up, and like I said, when he shot the cops, so these action sequences, it lets you know like, oh shit, this ain't a PG-13 movie, and like I said, it ends up being a lot of scenes where it's pretty gritty, and I like that aspect of it because it was like a fairy tale, but it wasn't. It was rated R, but it wasn't cliche, but it was kind of end of watch-ish. So with all those things combined, it was just entertaining, and I liked it and I enjoyed it. I will watch it again, and I would recommend anybody to watch it. Why not? It's free. Well, technically it's not free because it's on Netflix, but you know. I have to say, give a round of applause to Netflix for creating these new ideas and just going outside the box. You're not always going to get some what maybe one of the better movies of this year, like Thor Ragnarok. They got it right. It took movies. It took the third movie for them to get it right. So don't compare and be like, "Oh, this is trash." No, sometimes you have to go into these movies and realize what it is. If you go to see the next Fast and Furious movie, you know it's going to be crazy action scenes blown way out of proportion. Don't say, "Oh, this shit is so fake." Then don't go see it. Um, the soundtrack was good. I like the soundtrack. It was real. It matched the themes. You know, you don't go to strip club and there's some bullshit playing. It was actually like strip club music playing. And there was a lot of scenes where they're playing music. I'm like, oh shit. So everything from the action, the story, the music, Joel. Like I said, Will Smith is always going to do his thing. But to see Joel do his thing and really be side by side with Will Smith was nice to see. Um, and I mean, by the end of this, the L's catch up to Will Smith, and they just, like I said, they can't run anymore. They fight, and you already know what kind of movie this is. It's rare that it's gonna go somewhere left. Um, so we already know what happens. The L's try to bring the Dark Lord back. Will Smith somehow, I don't remember how, and that's the thing. When I watch it back, I'm gonna see what happened there. But Will Smith ends up being the bright. I still need clarification on that, and he ends up using the wand against the elves, which ended up being really cool. And it was another oh shit moment because he's like, man, I'm willing to sacrifice it all, and they grabbed it after seen people get blown away by just touching this thing, and then you see him like handle business with it. He's just like, oh shit. But that pretty much wraps it up. Enjoy it. Definitely, after work, this is a perfect way to start the weekend. Entertaining, be open minded about it. Like I said, everything from not just looking at, oh, just action or this, but just look at the dynamic of the movie and just appreciate what it is, man. Like I said, give a round of applause for Netflix once again. I'm probably gonna wait a couple hours and I'm gonna be watching it again. So, ladies, gentlemen, if you like this review, try to make it detailed and try to make it more like a conversation and give you, ladies and gentlemen, information, but my opinions on these topics. If you liked it, like, comment, subscribe. I would really like to know what you think of the movie. We will have links all over the place to the quick review that Ant did. He did a great job. We got the sub button, and like I said, feedback. And we're gonna wrap up 2017 in 2 more weeks. We're gonna start next year with a bang. So, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, feedback, talk to us, communicate. We really want to know what you think. And that was your slice of cheese for the day. Peace.